on. That does look like trouble. We'll be there on talkSPORT. Andy Townsend, how you doing?
I'm really good, Aid. Thank you. Really good, and genuinely was very excited at the weekend about what I saw. A real sense of anticipation going into these matches with fans coming back. It didn't disappoint at all. In fact, can't remember a more significant opening day. I know we were just a couple of goals short of equaling the opening day record for goals in the Premier League, but I don't remember one that was met with such excitement, such anticipation, and then it delivered in the manner that it did. I thought it was outstanding.
It was. Football-wise, absolutely spot on, and there's so much to get through between now and 7, and we will. But I think for me, the biggest thing was the fans. And it was almost surreal at one point for me, because I was in Stamford Bridge really early when it was empty, before the fans even started coming in. So I witnessed it filling up. And then by the time 2:45, 3 o'clock comes around, you can see there's people sitting in every seat. There's not a gap to be had. They're making so much noise. And it felt really weird seeing that many people sitting next to each other, because it hasn't happened for so long. Felt really odd, but it was just such a beautiful feeling. And the noise was, I don't know, maybe people can help us out from their own experiences at the weekend, 08717 22 3344. But I don't know if the noise we experienced at the weekend was the same as before. It's just been such a long time since we heard it that we've forgotten what it was like. And the sharp contrast between no fans pretty much to this was such that it made it sound louder than before, or whether it genuinely was. They were so excited to be back. They made so much noise. It genuinely was louder than before.
Do you know, at Old Trafford, they couldn't have timed. I mean, the whole day went perfect, I think, for Manchester United. And it started very much with, the build-up, with the fans coming in. Everyone was excited. Of course they were. And then when they introduced Rafa Varane, right, when they introduced him onto the field, like just a few minutes before kickoff, wow. In terms of receptions for new signings, I don't remember us hearing a better one than that. You know, because, I mean, usually a new player comes out, yes, there would be a roar. This like almost took the roof off its hinges, you know. Wow. It was like, it was incredible. It really was. It was an outstanding reception for a player. This isn't a striker that's coming in that everyone's expecting is going to be the next greatest thing in that respect. This is an experienced pro that's been there, seen it and done it. Yes, very much required and needed. What a lift for him. What a moment for even someone like him. He must have walked off that field with the shirt under his arm and thought, wow, I knew I was going to probably get a good reception. I didn't think I'd get something quite at that level. It
was amazing. I mean, I wasn't there. You were there.
Yeah.
Witnessed it firsthand. But just to see what was going on telly was just absolutely incredible. And I wondered at the time, how's Lindelof feeling? And then he puts in that pass for one of the goals.
Yeah.
He's feeling like he's got to up his game then,
He did well. He was nice and solid and steady. I mean, we'll come on to the games, of course, Aid. But in general, I think everything I saw at the weekend was ultra positive. I would love it to remain that way. Of course, if teams lose, if some of the teams that got beat at the weekend lose 3 or 4 on the spin, then it's not. Then obviously people are going to get fed up and start getting disgruntled and start questioning and querying everything they're seeing. But I think first time out, as I mentioned, I don't remember feeling too many atmospheres like that. And the one I experienced at Spurs yesterday, which was also fabulous. Don't remember getting too many of them on opening days.
Yeah, you were at United then at Spurs. I was at Chelsea, so we've seen some big hitters. But I'd also love to hear from some of the sides that lost, because I wonder how it's going to go, whether the noise levels and the atmosphere is going to be maintained or whether it's dependent on results. So, for example, your old club Norwich got battered by Liverpool 3-0. And no shame in losing to Liverpool, but did that flatten the atmosphere among the Norwich fans? I'd love to hear from them. Newcastle as well, who were leading 2-1 and then lost 4-2. I did see a couple of tweets saying that even at 2-1 up, the atmosphere was quite flat at Newcastle. 50,000 there. Is that true, or is that
can't have been flat
wrong?
At 2-1 up?
I was surprised to read that.
I'd be staggered if that's the case. I'd be amazed if that. Maybe slightly anxious and pensive about what they're seeing, and because they're up against a dangerous team, and 2-1, precarious scoreline. There's still a lot of football to be played in that game, but I'd be staggered if the Newcastle fans would come on and say, actually, the atmosphere was a little flat, and we could have maybe done a bit more to elevate the team and lift the team. I'd be amazed if that's the case.
Love to hear from Newcastle fans. Watford always create a great atmosphere, and the players responded 3-0 up at one point. how do the Aston Villa fans feel? Because their hero was gone. There's a lot of optimism about the new players that have come in, but did that flatten the atmosphere in the away end? And Leeds as well. I mean, their fans are fantastic. Their fans are brilliant. Even away from home, they're making a hell of a noise. But then they lose 5-1 at Old Trafford, and we've both got lots of questions about the Leeds performance that we'll get into a little bit later.
And some of the
on.
selections.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And Palace as well. Because the home fans were making such a loud noise and so positive, the atmosphere was sensational. But I'm talking about in and among that away end. If you're an Aston Villa fan, or if you're a Crystal Palace fan or a Leeds fan, and your team's getting well beaten, did that flatten the atmosphere, or were you just glad to be back? It didn't matter about the result.
Do you know what? I for Patrick, it's going to be so difficult because Roy was very set in his ways, and they were very successful in what they were always setting out to achieve, which was to stay in the league and to be competitive and again to make sure they're dining at the top table year in, year out. For Patrick now, he's coming in and it's like he's been given the job. Can you give us something else? Can you now do something else for us that makes us perhaps a genuine mid-table, even 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever sort of position? Can you get us in that sort of area? Now I'm looking at that.
And play some good football along the way.
And play some good football, play a different brand, a different style of football. But still, obviously, we have to stay in the league and all those usual rules will apply. And I looked at the team and I'm looking at that particular starting 11, and I'm sure there's tweaks to be made and there's still time for others to come, but I'm not seeing that with that particular team, Patrick's going to be able to do what he wants.
Yeah, I think the fans have got a right to say, well, okay, let's see what you've got. And they're waiting for something to happen. But nothing's going to happen at Palace unless they get a goal scorer. And I think even their fans realise that. So the recruitment hasn't been great. I just want to mention Brentford as well, who started it all off on Friday night. I was at the playoff semi-final at that stadium. It's a fantastic stadium. Have you been to it yet, Brentford Stadium?
I haven't been in there yet. No.
Right. So when you get to a game, you'll realise the atmosphere. Because I thought it was going to be a modern stadium, bit clinical, and I went there for the playoff semi against Bournemouth. It was amazing, and that was just 4,000 fans, I think, in there then. So it was nowhere near full. It was an amazing atmosphere, whipped up by Thomas Frank himself, who ahead of that game I went to, the playoff semi-final, did a lap of honour before the game to whip the crowd up, which was fantastic. This time they did a lap of honour after the game. And apparently, I'm told by Brentford fans that's going to happen every game. So, and that's fine. If that works for them, it's absolutely fine. But what they did, Brentford, on Friday night, Thomas Frank, the players and the fans, they set a standard. Whatever the size of your stadium, whatever the size of your club, you have to create an atmosphere.
You can make it rock.
They absolutely had that part of London rocking on Friday night. And of course, the players responded with a brilliant performance, and Arsenal played their part by being Arsenal. And it was magnificent, and it was just it was a joy to witness it. It was a joy to see it, and just understand how joyous those fans felt, who were kept away from the closing of Griffin Park, kept away from the opening of the new stadium, kept away largely from the promotion, and then they go and witness them do that in the Premier League on day one. It was fantastic. Really set a standard. So wherever you were, whatever you experienced in terms of the result, not too bothered about that. Want to know what you experienced in terms of being a fan back in the ground, because me and Andy both loved it. 08717 223344. It's Drive on talkSPORT with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Hundreds of local branches, usually no more than 15 minutes away, leaving more time to enjoy the football.